79, I finally understood something that would have sounded impossible to me when I was young. Love can keep you awake all night, but peace lets you sleep. And if you spend your whole life chasing one while destroying the other, there comes a day when you realize you are running toward the wrong thing the entire time. I know that because I spent nearly 60 years doing exactly that. When I was 23, I thought love was everything. Not quiet love, not healthy love. I mean the kind that consumes you, the kind that makes your heart race when someone enters a room, the kind that makes ordinary life feel cinematic, the kind that convinces you suffering is proof that something is real. And when I met Clara in the autumn of 1969, I thought I had found the center of the universe. She had dark eyes, sharp humor, and a way of speaking that made every sentence sound dangerous. People noticed her when she walked into a room. Men admired her. Women envied her. I couldn't believe she had chosen me. That feeling alone should have warned me, because when you believe someone is too good for you, you begin abandoning yourself just to keep them. But I didn't understand that yet. Back then, sacrifice felt romantic. If she was angry, I apologized. If she disappeared emotionally, I chased harder. If she insulted me, I told myself she was hurting inside. If she withdrew affection, I worked even harder to earn it back. I confused emotional exhaustion with devotion. And the terrifying part is, the world encourages this. People praise relationships that survive chaos. Movies glorify suffering. Songs turn heartbreak into poetry. Nobody tells you that peace is also a form of love, a far rarer form. For years, our marriage looked successful from the outside. We had a house, 2 children, holiday photographs, dinner parties, smiles. But inside that house, I slowly disappeared. I stopped playing piano because she said it was childish. I stopped seeing old friends because she disliked them. I stopped speaking openly because every conversation somehow became a conflict. The strange thing about losing yourself is that it happens quietly. No dramatic explosion, no single moment, just tiny betrayals repeated over decades until one morning you look in the mirror and realize the person staring back feels unfamiliar. I remember the exact night something inside me cracked. I was 58. Our daughter had just moved away. The house had become painfully silent. Clara and I sat across from each other during dinner, barely speaking. At one point I looked at her and realized if we met for the first time that day, we would never become friends. That thought terrified me, not because I hated her, but because I no longer recognized what we were protecting. And yet I stayed. Do you know why most people stay in unhappy relationships? Not love. Fear. Fear of starting over. Fear of loneliness. Fear of judgment. Fear that maybe this is simply what life becomes after enough years pass. So, people remain inside emotional prisons and call it commitment. I did that for another 16 years. Then, one winter morning, Clara died unexpectedly. Even now, saying those words feels strange, because when someone leaves after decades together, the world expects grief to arrive in one simple form. But human emotions are rarely simple. Yes, I cried. Yes, I mourned. But underneath the grief, there was something else. Silence. And inside that silence, something I had not felt in nearly half a century. Relief. The first time I admitted that to myself, I felt monstrous. What kind of husband feels relief after loss? But the truth kept returning. For the first time in my adult life, nobody was angry with me. Nobody was criticizing me. Nobody was controlling the emotional temperature of the room. The house felt still, and slowly that stillness became peace. I began waking up without anxiety twisting in my chest. I started playing piano again. I walked for hours near the lake. I ate when I wanted, slept when I wanted, read books without being mocked for wasting time. Little by little, I remembered who I had been before I spent decades trying to become acceptable to someone else. And that was the moment I understood something devastating. Love that costs your peace is too expensive. I wish someone had told me that when I was young. People think peace is boring because they confuse it with emptiness. But peace is not emptiness. Peace is when your nervous system no longer feels under attack. Peace is being able to breathe normally in your own home. Peace is laughing without fear of ruining someone's mood. Peace is silence that doesn't feel threatening. Young people chase intensity because intensity feels meaningful. But intensity burns. Peace heals. At 79, I no longer admire relationships filled with obsession, jealousy, emotional games, or dramatic passion. I admire gentleness. I admire people who make others feel safe, people who speak softly during disagreements, people who don't force you to earn basic kindness, people whose presence calms your body instead of exhausting it. That kind of love may not look exciting in movies, but it saves lives. A few years ago, I met an old man at a park bench not far from my home. We spoke for nearly an hour. Before leaving, he told me something I have never forgotten. He said, "When you're young, you look for fireworks. When you're old, you just pray for calm water." At the time, I smiled politely. Now I understand exactly what he meant, because eventually, life humbles everyone. The noise becomes unbearable. The drama becomes exhausting. The constant proving, chasing, fighting, begging, it all starts feeling absurd. And one day, after enough heartbreak, peace becomes the most beautiful thing you've ever experienced. If you are young and listening to this, remember something I learned too late. Do not choose people who make your life emotionally loud. Choose people who make your soul feel rested. Because in the end, the greatest luxury in life is not passion, it is peace.